this time, we will be featuring different panelists from the DICT Region 8. Um, they will be introduced by Kuya Sean, Mr. aka Mr. Sean Francis and Balaes. So I will give forward the platform ganon kan Kuya Sean to introduce naman our featured guest. Tama. So thank you.
All right, let me fix it up. Okay, it's working. All right, so thank you, Pat, for giving me the floor. So we are at this part now, everyone, where doing the panel discussion. So actually, this panel discussion, interestingly, actually came from one of the feedback that we got from last year's debate booth. I have an idea who might have given that feedback, but if you think you are the one who gave it, thank you very much. It gave us an idea to do this discussion, and I think it's really important. So before I introduce the speakers, I mean the panelists, I would like to just describe to you what uh, the the panel is about. So the title here for this one is Code and Coastlines: Understanding the Tech Ecosystem in Eastern Visayas. So while it's not often mentioned as part of the national technology discourse, Eastern Visayas is slowly building a thriving tech industry that will solidify its place in the Philippines as a key center for growth, innovation, and progress. It has seen it has seen the rise of remote jobs and sprouting of tech communities, which contribute to its ever-growing tech ecosystem. However, despite this progress, the region is still mired by infrastructure issues, inadequate job opportunities, and brain drain. So, in this panel discussion, we will hear from professionals their thoughts on the current tech ecosystem of Eastern Visayas and the challenges and obstacles facing the local tech scene and the developments being forwarded to further the growth of Eastern Visayan tech. Now, I would like to introduce a few, not few, I mean, the panelists for today's panel discussion. First, let me introduce to you Delphin Magote III. Delphin is the CEO of Advanced Thinkers Co., CTO of Meow Store SL, and a tech consultant for Tesla. Having graduated with degrees in computer engineering, major in robotics, and electronics engineering major in mechatronics. His first job was a test engineer at Fujitsu 10, where he worked in the car infotainment research and development department in Japan. After returning to the Philippines, he decided that a corporate life was not for him. So he worked as a freelance developer until he founded his own startup developing tech solutions for the government and community. A round of applause for Delphin.
Hello,
Okay.
everyone.
Hi, Delvin. Oh, yeah. Also, by the way, guys, he is also the guy behind Trabajador, if you guys have already heard of it. Next up is Ma'am Claire Fernandez. So, Ma'am Claire Fernandez is an information technology officer at DICT Regional Office 8 with over 20 years of experience in government service. She has a master's in information systems graduating from UP Open University. Her career is marked by high impact results in cybersecurity, digital literacy, and ICT adoption, earning her prestigious recognitions such as the Top Master Trainer Award at the 2023 ASEAN Digital Literacy Forum in Indonesia and multiple Regional ID Coordinator of the Year honors. So I'm glad to introduce to you Ma'am Claire Fernandez. A hand of applause for Ma'am Claire.
Thanks, Sean. Hello, everyone.
All right. So finally, the last panelist we have is is that we would love to introduce is Ma'am Diane Remont. So Ma'am Diane is currently an Associate Professor 5 in Eastern Visayas State University. She graduated with a BS Computer Engineering degree at the Cebu Institute of Technology and finished her master's in science teaching major in computer science. She is currently under dissertation for her doctorate in information technology at the Isabela State University Kawayan campus. Being in academia for years, she has had Scopus Index research outputs and is interested in data science, image processing, and computer networks. So a hand of applause to Ma'am Dayan.
Hi, Sean. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, the three of you, for joining us today. Delphin, I hope you had a good flight.
Yes, settled in na.
Good. All right, so let's start this panel discussion by a quick icebreaker. So, when you think about the Eastern Visayan tech scene, what word comes to mind, and why that word? Who would like to go first?
Ako na siguro.
Sige.
Sige. Sige. Okay, so the first question, when you think about the Eastern Visayan tech scene, what word comes to mind, and can you elaborate more on that word? So, okay, so as Sean mentioned, I am from the startup community ng Eastern Visayas. So, the word that comes to mind is practical. So, practical kasi all of the startups and tech discussions sa Eastern Visayas are practical in a sense na tech is being used to address practical needs. So, some might say na behind ng Eastern Visayas, but what we actually have are tech solution that addresses practical needs of the people. So, hindi yung parang like very into parang AI wrapper lang, parang LLM wrapper, parang mga ganun. So, mga tech solutions kasi like we have tech solutions like Peddler. Peddler ginagamit siya ng MSMEs and sari-sari stores. Or yung sarili kong startup which is Trabahador na for skilled services. And then we also have Paytaka. It's an innovative app na ginagamit naman for practical usage of cryptocurrency for payments. Then yun, we also have tech communities that help devs upskill or improve their hireability. Inclusive yung tech scene natin. It's just for tech savvy people, but it actually helps everyone adapt to digitalization. At I think sila Ma'am Claire, kitang-kita ko yung DICT recently talagang sobrang active sa ano nila sa education sa to everyone like sa mga municipalities. So mainly because our tech scene is practical and grounded, kaya kumbaga inclusive siya. So it doesn't have to be grand or high level agad na tech scene. It must first be relatable. So that way, Eastern Visayas have a solid foundation. Kaya yun, what comes to mind sa akin is the word practical.
Thank you, Delphin, for that one. So, kayo, Ma'am Claire, Ma'am Dayan, what are your thoughts?
Okay, can I go first?
Sige.
Okay. Oo, kanina as the other presenters, we have students. I know the presenters were students coming from UP, LNU, and the like. So it is well noting that the students itself, kumbaga, are giving their worth after the graduation. Parang they are not focusing only that, parang they are exploring to learn, diba? So, gaya ng sinabi ni Sir Delphine kanina, the presence of the startup, yun ang focus ng Eastern Visayas ngayon, in which pwedeng yan yung magawang foundation to be able that our students from the information technology, computer science, what you call this, programs, and even computer engineering programs, yun ma-expose sila, or IS students ma-expose sila for those kind of things. And sabi ni Sir Delphine kanina, I agree with him also na hindi naman kailangan grant. Ang importante is the students learn something. Okay? So yun, parang exploration pa sa Eastern Visayas na yun. And then, sana, with the foundation that you have with Dev 8, Sean, parang this is inspiring also from other students na parang they are heard, di ba? That they belong to the community to contribute to the innovation, okay, that is happening already in the region. So yun lang yung take ko.
Thank you, Ma'am Dayan. So, how about you, Ma'am Claire? What do you think?
Okay, regarding the tech scene, I'll just be very, I don't know. Like, I'm wearing a lot of hats now in the industry and of government, but I think it's more of the skill-based paid tech scene, no? For some people I know they earn a lot, like 600,000 per month from Kalbayog. For some of my friends, they earn 100,000 a month. I mean, I'm just looking into the earning, ha. What I see is this tech scene is really, there's an unmet potential for us, no? And I'm really very happy with the Dev 8 for having this to at least help, no? So, sino yung mga magagaling, let's help yung, those who are starting their journey, no? So it's really a good thing, no, to have this kind of Dev 8 event. Yun lang muna for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Claire. So thank you for those thoughts. Very, very interesting siya. So, pero considering all what you said about the current Eastern Visayan tech scene, the ecosystem, how was it compared? How was it like compared to 10 years ago? Like, what were the changes that you've noticed compared to 2016, 2015? How did the local tech scene develop?
Okay, pwede ako muna.
Sige, Ma'am Dayan. Go, Ma'am Dayan.
No, sige, ma'am, go.
Okay,
Your voice audio is a bit low though.
um, is it a bit low or
Okay, that's better now.
better na? Okay.
Yeah.
Malayo yung speaker sa akin eh. Okay, based on my observation as a faculty, okay, in the university, parang in terms of the exposure of the students, learning different innovative aspects like kahit may presence ng AI or something, oo, parang at least it keeps growing, may progress na din. Oo, gaya nga ng sabi ko, yung mga students ngayon are learning independently. Sabi ko nga kanina na parang it's so, it's inspiring that students are continuing to navigate, 'di ba? The presence of innovations, the presence of technologies, 'di ba? Na pwede nilang makuha, that they can use it later on sa mga work nila or trabaho nila. So parang ganun, parang malayo na yung naabot. Oo. May progress din. Thank you.
True. I actually would agree with the statement that students are learning on their own na. Because I have noticed in the past few years that there are more students talaga that are self-studying more, way more than before. So I definitely agree. Okay, Delphine, Ma'am Claire, what do you think?
Sige, I'll just go next. Basically, the tech scene right now, no, I mean, sorry, 10 years no ago compared to now. 10 years ago, it's more of the support function tayo, di ba? But now, ecosystem. Ngayon is marami yung mga massive rise in remote work. But nakita natin it's very competitive, no? Just earlier, I saw, di ba, yung isang news about Oracle, di ba, na marami silang linay off na employees. So yun ang nakikita ko, no, for now, no. Ngayon is more on remote work. Sa perspective naman namin, aside from being internet hubs, we want to foster digital transformation and tech-related jobs. So yun ang nakikita ko. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Claire. Sige, Delphine.
Okay, actually, dagdag lang sa sinabi ni Miss Diana at saka ni Ma'am Claire. So actually, 10 years ago, guest speaker ako sa isang seminar sa LNU. Medyo nakakalungkot lang nung time na yon kasi that was around 2016 nata, 17. People barely know or unaware sila of Python. Kasi nga, ang dati, even sa mga schools, ang tinuturo is PHP lang, tapos meron pang Turbo C. Like, outdate. I mean, PHP is not outdated. Hindi mamatay-matay yung PHP. Pero yung Turbo C kasi, like, those are stuff na, why are we still studying this? Dapat, like, parang Python na, TypeScript na, mga ganon. Pero, nakakalungkot na they barely know Python. And these are IT students. Fourth year graduating sila. So, medyo nakakalungkot siya ng time na yon. Pero I can sense the enthusiasm from them. Kasi especially yung topic ko kasi noon is practical uses of machine learning. So instead of being technical sa seminar ko na yon, I taught them, tinuro ko sa kanila, ano ba yung practical uses of machine learning? Like sinabi ko sa kanila, alam nyo ba ang YouTube algorithm, ang Netflix recommendation system, those are machine learning. Hindi natin alam na we are encountering machine learning every day in our lives sa mga digital platforms. So doon parang natuwa sila, ay ito pala. So kumbaga, mandun yung enthusiasm and interest nila. Now, almost 10 years later, may mga tinutulungan kasi ako ng thesis sa LNU kasi medyo may ano ako na instead of bumili kayo ng thesis kasi alam naman natin may problem talaga na may iba bumibili ng thesis. Pag nalaman ko na may balak siyang bumili ng thesis, sabihin ko sa kanya, tutulungan na lang kita sa thesis mo. Tulungan kita, pwede ko pa rin magko-code. Ngayon, ang nakakatuwa dun kasi most of their thesis proposal sa LNU, the same LNU na walang maraming estudyante hindi aware sa Python, most of them may some sort of machine learning na. That was 10 years growth sa kanila na ngayon halos lahat may machine learning na. And at least one member per group are familiar or using Python. So, amazing yung growth niya even though it took 10 years. Like ngayon ang ganda na kasi like for example, si Josmer kanina combining software and hardware. Ako as a robotics major, yun talaga yung gusto ko, kino-combine yung hardware and software. And dun pala makita mo ang laki na ng growth nung tech scene ng community. And then recently na invite ako to speak sa seminar sa UP Tacloban. Ang audience ko naman this time, marketing and management students. So even though they are not devs, they are still aware of various technologies and platforms they can utilize. So dito natin makita kung gaano ka-vibrant yung tech adoption sa Eastern Visayas compared to 10 years ago. Although obviously pa natin i-argue na malaking part ang pandemic sa growth ng tech adoption talaga, pero still malaking progress to para sa Eastern Visayas, yung tech adoption and knowledge sa tech scene natin ngayon.
Thank you so much, Delphin. Yeah, I would agree. Things have... Ay, caramba. Is it echoing? Yeah, hopefully it's not echoing. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much, Delphin. Yeah, that's a really good point. There's a wider tech adoption na, at least within Eastern Visayas. I also remember na Gcash is more prevalent. We also have Maxim becoming more used in the region. We're adopting digital technologies for daily life. So, yeah, among those things na consider. Pero in the current year, we have the boom from AI. There's like a current trend ongoing with artificial intelligence, specifically generative AI. So we have heard, as Mom Claire has said, na their Oracle has been has laid off, and also they partly claimed, I checked this earlier, they partly claimed it's due to AI. And a lot of these companies are blaming AI for the layoffs. So considering that, how do you think Gen AI would impact the local tech ecosystem?
Hello?
Hi, Ma'am. Sige, go, Ma'am Diane. You can go first.
Okay, I think for, let's say, for example, for the programmers, right, or software developers locally, parang sinasabing parang kakumpit na nila si AI, di ba? Kasi even student or any professionals can use AI for guidance. Pero dyan sinasabi kung saan na yung limitations, right? So students, other professionals must know kung kailan lang pwedeng magamit si AI. We all know that that's artificial intelligence, that is robot. Only humans also do that. So kailangan ng verification, right? So though yes, malaki nga yung impact nila sa local tech ecosystem kasi instead na mag-hire, 'di ba, hindi na siya ma-hire kasi kaya naman ni AI, right? Oo, pero we also have to think that there are other ways or other parts of the face of the AI na kailangan din ng verification ng human. So parang ganun. So parang yun yung current state ng in terms of the local tech that we have here. Parang siya. For the lalo na sa starters. Sabi ni Steven.
So, Ma'am Claire, Delphin, what do you think?
Sa part ko naman, 'di ba? I think it's also good for us to use these AI tools. But yun nga lang, di ba? There's a difference between augmentation and replacement. Para bang, because if you feed it with garbage, garbage in, garbage out. No? Kaya nga, di ba, with our prompts, we have to be uh, more creative with it, no? Sa amin naman sa DICT, no, that's why we are focusing on digital literacy and AI ethics, no. So yun ang nakikita, masakit lang, no, when I hear this news like yung sa Oracle kanina, 'di ba? Last year they had a billion yung profit, and then now they fire people so that they'll have this use again AI technology. Parang ang sakit isipin, no, na with this, with the AI stuff, parang people are less human and they are more on robots. Parang wala na yung emotional connection. But especially now, 'di ba? We're having this crisis, 'di ba? Kung ako as a person, 'di ba, if I own this corporation, for example, or I am a company, I mean, a CEO, 'di ba? If I have compassion for my people, this is not the time to fire people. But parang hindi, 'di ba? Parang nagiging less ano na tayo eh, less like less loving, parang ganun. So it's really sad. Yun lang yun. Yun ang masasabi ko. Thank you.
Ikaw, Delphin, do you have your thoughts? Thank you, Mom Claire. Delphin, do you have thoughts on this one?
Yes. Actually, di ba nagdi-discuss tayo before niyan eh? Parang nagdi-discuss tayo
Yes.
before about AI.
Late night,
Yeah, I
late
think
night yun.
late night. So okay, so ganito. Actually related to siya sa naging topic ko sa UP Tacloban recently about using AI. So first of all, we must realize that AI is just a tool. So a user who relies on a tool to decide for them or heavily rely on tools and became complacent, magiging obsolete sila. But at the same time, tayo naman, if we don't adapt and don't utilize AI, we will also become obsolete. So what this means is you should aim for that sweet spot. So utilize AI while improving our soft skills, critical thinking, and end up scaling to harness the potential of AI. So like what Ma'am Diane and Ma'am Claire mentioned, yung soft skills natin, yung empathy natin, yung critical thinking natin, those are things na hindi kaya ng AI kasi AI is inference. AI is just prediction. So kumbaga, yung creativity nasa tao pa rin 'yan. Kasi sa mga tao na gumagamit ng AI, mga devs na gumagamit ng AI, it's basically if nakadepende yan kung gaano ka critical thinker ka. Kapag yung AI pa gawin mo ng lahat, like talagang completely vibe coding, you will have millions of codes na unmaintainable. But if you use it right, it's basically devs on steroids. So talagang sobrang bilis ng deployment. And I think pwede ko naman siguro mag-name drop dito. So si Paytaka CEO, si Dr. Jomar, talagang bumilis ang development cycle niya. Ako, personally, bumilis ang development cycle ko. Pero ang difference namin siguro sa mga normal na nagba-vibe coding lang, familiar na kasi kami sa foundation, sa architecture. So basically, hindi namin sinasabing AI na, create this web app for me. No. What we tell AI is, I have this architecture, ganito yung pagkakakabit-kabit, then create the boilerplate code for me. Or parang kumbaga hindi mo siya yung gagawa ng lahat, ikaw pa rin ang nag-iisip kung paano siya gagana. So basically my point here is that utilize AI well, intindihin siya as a tool, and then let us focus more on how to use it well, and basically what AI can replace is yung critical thinking natin, soft skills natin, empathy natin. And those are stuff na hopefully will not make us obsolete sa age of AI.
Good. Yeah. Thank you, Delphin. Yeah, I would agree. I'm not the user of AI tools, but I would agree. I remember I think this last year, we discussed this. Tapos we were more or less in agreement na if you're not really familiar with the fundamentals, like if you're still a student who's new to programming, we don't recommend using them. That's what I recall from our conversation last year.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, ayun. Like, one of the messages right now from the panelists here is use AI as a tool. Pero let's take it a bit from a report from the real world. This was reported to me, to us at DevAid by one of our members. We have received reports na that students in a certain university, and actually, and it's in Tacloban, it's a certain university, I will not name drop, their students have been using Gen AI, to generate their thesis papers. And these students are advising each other to not say kasi yun po sabi ng AI. they're advising each other not to say that para they're not grilled during the thesis defense. Pero if you ask them daw, if about their methodology of their study, naging the dependency on AI or the fact they use AI is evident, and it it shouldn't be surprising if this is not this is also occurring in other schools. So, what are your thoughts on this phenomenon where students have just been using their AI, using Gen AI, ChatGPT, Claude for producing their thesis papers, including the methodology?
Okay, can I?
Sige ma'am Diane, go.
Okay, so my point to that, with the existence of the AI era for today, diba? So I think in the curriculum, okay, of in the IT courses, I think hindi lang siya sa IT uh, applicable. I think sa lahat ng courses in the university or any private higher education institutions, applicable siya lahat. So dapat pwedeng i-apply or i-integrate yung ethical use of artificial intelligence, 'di ba? Para alam din ng students na pag nagsabi, can you make me a thesis? This is the title, just like that. Diba, ibibigay lahat. Lalo na pag subscribe, diba? Yung AI tools na yun. So, hindi nila alam if kung yung ginawa ba ni AI is, does it speaks on the concept of their study? Or ganun ba, diba? So, kailangan pala ng verification, and it is not also necessary that you just have to copy and paste that one. Diba? Kasi AI also can give you methodology. Ini-input mo lang, pero sabi nga, depende yan sa prompt that you are going to type, diba? On that generative AI tools, right? So parang yun. So parang it is also a big approach din that maybe as the professors or faculty teaching, oo, dapat we can also incorporate the ethical use of AI in the classrooms. Oo. Lalo na pag siguro if I will be handling the thesis. Oo. So, kailangan merong section dyan na, or let's say for example, one part of the subject, or let's say in a week, that we can use the ethical use of AI. Kasi malaking contribution siya in terms of, let's say, hindi maganda yung copy-pasted talaga kasi may similarity. Parang ganun. So, dapat alam nila. Then, if you're going to fed making a thesis just like that, andyan na. So, para sa kanila, okay, ang easy pala, di ba? Pero pagdating sa defense, right, hindi na nila alam kung anong gagawin nila. Okay? So, yun. So, sabi nga ni Sir Delphine, is just a tool. So, dapat alam nila na tool lang yung AI. Nag-a-assist lang si AI. So, that is my take, Chan.
Thank you, Ma'am Diane, for your take. Very, very interesting, especially now you're coming from academia, and it's really interesting how things are seen from the professor side. So, kayo Delphine, Ma'am Claire, do you have thoughts on this one? Wala na, Ma'am Claire, Delphine, if you have certain thoughts to add to Ma'am Diane.
Sige ako muna. Actually, yung sinabi ni Ma'am Diane, yun din yung sagot ko eh. Kasi, again, it's a tool. Actually, again, related to sa naging topic ko sa UP Tacloban sa mga marketing and management students. Sabi nila, ba, tama bang gumamit ng AI? Sabi ko, if you are using it as a tool, then it's fine. Kasi at the end of the day, ikaw ang magde-defend, hindi yung AI. Pero the moment na sabihin mong, sabi ng AI, palpak ka na, bagsak ka na kagad dapat pag ganun. So I think it is expected na it will happen. Just like all new technology, it will be abused in its first years. So na-abuse siya sa academe. Again, ito may experience talaga nangyari sa Tacloban. Pero I think what should be implemented are new rules and regulations on how it is used. Like, yes, we will have education on the ethical use of AI, but we need stronger teeth on how to regulate it. Kasi ang mangyayari dyan, magkakaroon tayo ng brain drain. Kasi nag-rely ka na sa AI. And there have been studies na people na over-reliance sa AI bumaba talaga yung critical thinking skills nila. So just like what Ma'am Dayan said, magkakaalaman yan sa defense. So, siguraduhin yun na kapag mag-AI kayo, kaya nyo i-defend yan. Kumbaga, pinadali ni AI yung research mo. But at the same time, dalawa yan eh. You need to ensure the citations are correct. Kailangan mo i-check yan isa-isa. Hindi porket sinabi ni AI na galing to dito, di ka sure doon. Pangalawa, you should study what the AI produced. If ganun man ang nangyari na nag-rely ka, pag-aralan mo. Kasi at the end of the day, ikaw na may nag-aaral eh. And it's just another learning tool for you. Then, by the time na magde-defense ka, malalaman natin if naintindihan mo ba talaga or kaya mong i-defend yung topic mo if you can defend it without the use of AI. Ganun.
Yeah. Thank you, Delphin, for that very, very interesting take. Really love it. Ikaw, Ma'am Claire, do you have your thoughts to add to what Delphin and Ma'am Diana said?
Although lahat sinabi na nila, siguro yung nakikita ko lang, no, what's happening now, 'di ba? Ano pa rin, lamang pa rin yung marunong gumamit ng AI tools sa hindi. So yun lang ang take ko doon. So parang as mentioned, it's a tool. So mas lamang pa rin, no. So it's very important sa atin, no, as the tech community, that we should also be using these tools, no. But yun nga, tama lang na hindi lang, for example, from scratch na make hindi gano'n dapat. Parang with your input, then parang it's more on empowering you, parang gano'n. Yun lang.
Okay, thank you, Claire. Yeah, thank you so much. So, considering we have students or people abusing AI, so taking that into account, what can we do to make sure that our CS and IT students or ICT students are job ready and competitive enough once they graduate from school? Now, especially now we have these issues coming out due to AI. So what can we do to make them job ready and competitive?
Okay, ako na naman. Ako na una. Sorry, Sir Delphine and Ma'am Claire. Okay, para sa akin, syempre, the teachers are designed to be facilitators nowadays, 'di ba? Sa university or higher education institutions. They are facilitators, and at the same time din, oo, 'di ba, second parent din sila. And hindi parang for me, it's not good that they will be trained with a spoon feeding parang spoon feeding na tactics or strategy. So hindi yan pwede. Kaya nga sabi ko, it is better that the faculty itself or the professor itself will be able to train the student to learn independently. Meron namang mga estudyante that they opt to parang they want the usual teacher student interaction, which is very important also. Kailangan din yan. Oo, hindi na puro lang salita si teacher. So, kailangan i-involve yung mga students with that kasi that will prepare them for, let's say for example, if they do the internship, pinakamahalaga din yung internship program. Oo. Kaya nga sabi sa mga curriculums ngayon, merong isang semester intended for internship to be able to expose them. Right? Baka in their future work. Kaya nga it's also it's a high time nowadays na meron tayong mga startup companies already in the region. 'Di ba? Kasi na instead na pupunta yung mga estudyante, 'di ba, sa ibang places like other regions, Cebu or Manila itself. So hindi na kasi meron na tayong mga startup dito, which is sabi ko nga maganda. And then tinutulungan naman ni DICT at ni DUST, 'di ba? Yung existence ng mga startups na to. Parang ito yung dapat i-improve. Oo. Which is working naman yung mga startups natin dito para let's say for example for the internship program, marami yung exposure ng mga estudyante natin. So not just for the computer student graduating students. So yun lang yung take ko.
Thank you, thank you, Ma'am Diane. But I found the part where you said encouraging students to self-study very interesting. Kasi how can we encourage these students to further self-study ba? Kasi aside from just through academia, kasi if they said one of the things that was noticed, let's say in Cebu, that students, even though there are universities in Cebu, they say they're not teaching their students well. Their students are automatically motivated to self-study intensely, which also contributes to the fact that many of their student culture there is very hyper competitive, according to what I've learned. So how can we make these students self-study or encourage them? Kasi from what I heard from a local businessman, one of the reasons why we have a lower entry level salary for tech companies here is that students, when they graduate from college or university, they're not as job ready as they want them to be. So how can we further encourage these students to self-study and be really, really job ready? Any one of you can take a stab on this one.
Sige, ako na lang siguro kasi ako yung nasa startup scene ngayon. So
Sige.
actually, this is actually more of a challenge. Biglang challenge na sila si Ma'am Diana at saka si Ma'am Claire. So I think ang nag-improve right now sa Eastern Visayas or siguro Tacloban kasi sa Tacloban ko nakikita is yung hackathons. Actually, we need more hackathons. But it doesn't have to be big hackathons. We can do mini hackathons sa university level. Kasi that way, parang, somehow subsidized or may prize, kahit small prizes lang. Kasi one of the reasons why students self-study is because there's a goal. There must first be a goal na, like, there's this challenge. Ano yung gagawin ko para ma-solve tong challenge na to? Which means I have to learn something new. I have to do something. I have to be creative. Now, big hackathons, usually, those are the big groups, strongest groups from the university. So usually, sila-sila lang din. But if we can do like within the university, like sabi natin sa section ninyo, sa isang block ninyo, kayo magko-compete. Parang mga ganun, like micro hackathons, mini hackathons. Ganun. At the same time, involvement ng government. I think si DayCity kasi ang dami ng involvement niya more on dun sa citizens. And syempre, masyadong malaki yung scope. But if there are like other participation na magagawa like for seminars, for like boot camps, I think that will really help yung mga mga students natin sa Region 8. Pero kay naman is we have communities naman in Eastern Visayas, which I think contributed sa hireability ng mga taga Region 8. Actually, si Sean, nagsasend sa akin ng mga resume. Lahat sila hireable. Wala lang talagang pera ako. Ganun. Pero they are actually competent. Each of them may kanya-kanyang system. So I think, paano nangyari to na hireable na sila? Like, sasabi ngayon ni Sean na medyo hindi hireable. I think they're not just looking sa right targets lang. Or kulang pa ang reach ng DevAid. Kasi I think DevAid is a really good initiative to make the people in Eastern Visayas hireable. Kasi if you have this community that actually helps these students, these people, malaking tulong siya. And I think, yung challenge ko, biglang challenge kay Ma'am Claire at kay Ma'am Dayan, mas ma-expand pa natin yung involvement ng DevAid sa university and mga initiatives natin. Pahirapan natin si Sean. Yun lang.
My gosh.
Oo, rejoinder din kay Sir Delphine. Kaya nga sabi ko, it is better. Magandang initiative ang DevAid. Pwede din siyang mag-reach out sa mga universities and HEIs dito sa region. Let's say, for example, para introducing your organization, the purpose of your organization. Oo, na mahikayatin yung mga estudyante. Let's say, for example, may mga activities yung school. So, you can do that, Sean, para ma-expand na naman yung purpose ng organization. And another rejoinder din sa tanong, sabi ko nga, professors, teachers are only facilitators of learning. You students can work independently kasi meron naman, hindi naman lahat ng students are of the same capacity, of the same level of learning, di ba? So, merong mga students na nagka-copy na lang, merong isang magagawa, just copied, di ba? Parang self-responsibility din yan. So it doesn't mean that because of the teacher does not teach well, the students are affected. 'Di ba? Oo. So, iba-iba ang level of capacity natin. Pero in the later run, pag mag-graduate na si student, so I mean, alam din yan. I mean, sabi nga, mag-e-explore din yan, di ba? Kasi para sa trabaho, kailangan kong maging innovative, kailangan kong mag-learn. Di ba? Kailangan mag-expand ang learning ko. So, parang self-responsibility din yan para maging successful in the later run. Yun lang, Shan.
Okay.
Thank you, Ma'am Dayan. Ikaw, Ma'am Claire. Okay, sige, Ma'am
Oo,
Claire, go.
I'll wear a lot of hats in this, no. First, based on experience, I think pinaka-importante sa lahat sa atin dito, ano ba yung plan mo? It should start there, 'di ba? Do you plan to be an employee? Then go for it. Madali lang naman, mga apply ka lang, no? Do you plan to be an entrepreneur like Sir Delphine? Or do you plan to be the academe like Ma'am Dayan? So, may mga paths kasi na we have to take just that road. Parang it has a finish line. So, just have to go through it, no? Parang, yun ang nakikita ko. Ano ba yung why mo? Gusto mo bang yumaman? Then, be an entrepreneur. Joke. Na parang ganun. But what's your plan? Like, you, Shan, di ba, you're very passionate about helping the tech scene. So, you're doing this. So, di ba, ano ba yung sense of fulfillment mo? Parang gano'n, no? Ano lang, no, hindi naman pagmamalaki, but like, yung dalawa kong anak, di ba, they are both magna cum laudes, no? From LNU, dalawa sila. But, yung isa kong anak, she wants to work sa hotel kasi hospitality management. But later sabi niya, "Mama, I don't like that scene." No? Gusto niya dito. And now she's working as a freelancer. She enjoys her work. Kahit hindi ganun mas malaki ang sahod times 2, times 3 doon sa hotel. But what I mean here, yung sense of fulfillment, she's enjoying her work, she's comfortable with it, she has her own time. Yun yung sense of happiness sa kanya. The same thing with my other daughter. She wants to just do freelancing. She wants to enjoy life. So yung tanong sa'yo ngayon, ano bang gusto mong gawin sa buhay mo? Do you really wanna work? So maraming pwede mong gawin, 'di ba? Alam natin 'yun. Maraming paths. Parang checklist lang 'yan. You can even use AI tools na. Anong gusto mong gawin? This checklist. And number two, 'di ba, para sa akin, get out of your shell, no? Ano ko na as a parent naman, 'di ba, yung second daughter ko, sabi ko nga she used to work in a hotel. Sabi niya kakapagod mama yung 8 to 5 na work, yung ganyan-ganyan, yung nandoon ka talaga sa lugar, nakatayo siya the whole day. So then when an opportunity came, kasi sabi, "Mama, I don't like mama AI tools. I don't like to be techy." Sabi ko, "Be, that's the future. You know, if you want to be competitive, you just have to go there and get out of your shell." So ang nangyari, when she had an interview, yung first client niya, no, that was like a year ago, US based na client. And then she got hired. And then now, no, she's into it. I mean to say, di ba, it really starts, ano bang gusto mong gawin, no? Hanggang wala ka pa doon, don't relax, di ba? I'm sure tayo, most most of us, we love gaming, we are consumers, but be a producer if you want. Pero depende yan, na as I said, depende anong gusto mo. If you just want a simple life, a stress-free life, be an employee, parang gano'n. But sa DICT naman na side, no, yung role namin sa DICT, example sa DICT, ang dami-dami naming training, no. Kanina pala, i-insert ko lang ito siya na, and of course, 'di ba nag-share ka na about cybersecurity. Ano ba yung pwede kong gawin na path? Marami. For example, na very basic, if you really wanna start na walang bayad, you can try the ISC2 certificate in cybersecurity, walang bayad yun. It's like worth 25,000 pesos, 'di ba, no, Joanne? So, free lang yun siya. Yung 5 months ka, like the ISC2, ano lang, isc2.org, no, just visit it, no, sa ISC2 site. Libre lang siya. It's worth 25,000 pesos. 15,000 yung parang exam, 10,000 yung worth nung 5 months ka doon sa portal, 'di ba? You get access, free access doon sa course for 5 months. It's worth 10,000, libre yon. Yung exam, it's ano siya, it's on-site exam, like it can be in Cebu or Manila. 15,000 yung exam, libre yon ng ISC2. So just imagine, that's one. If you want naman, 'di ba, meron namang isa like what the ICT is doing now with ILCDB, no, which was I'm invited here for the ILCDB. They've got this junior cyber analyst na from Cisco naman yan. Wala din yan bayad. No? So, maraming stepping stone, no. Ano na lang doon, another inspiration sa atin, especially to sa cyber, no. Sa empleyado namin sa office, no, like pinaka-basic na cybersecurity, no, na ano sa amin, like my ITO1, yung salary is like around 60,000 pesos. Let's say ano, let's say 40,000 pesos, ganyan lang. 50,000 pesos. Okay. Then this guy, no, he was a regular employee sa amin, earning 50,000 per month, but he was offered, no, sa Singapore ng 6 digits, like 100,000 plus salary, and he took it kasi work from home. No, so what I mean here, no, kami sa government, 'di ba, maraming binibigay na training, but I really encourage you, stay focused. Ano bang gusto mong gawin? Stay focused, 'di ba? Parang 'wag na tayo magpa-spoon feed, 'di ba, matatanda na tayo, 'di ba? Kasi yung mga taong "Paano 'yan? Let's be more innovative. Let's go there. Let's go out and, as I said, get out of your shell," no? tama itong ginagawa. Join like this. Kami kasi government, we want to make the academe, government, and industry collaborate, di ba? So, paano ba yung mga hire, near hire, yung job ready para sa akin, no? Importante talaga yung ano ng industry, di ba? Kasi sila, the industry, sila talaga yung nandyan. No? Kami government, kung ano yung, we just offer this course and all, but yung industry talaga. So para sa inyo, work in that industry, no? Kahit sabihin mo, yung sahod maliit, work in that industry kung saan mo gusto. Para there you can be competitive, you can be on top of your game, parang ganon. So yun ang nakikita ko. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Claire. Yeah, very, very insightful thoughts na, especially when you said na you need a goal. Kasi you'd be really lost if you don't have a goal. So, and I like that you said basically explore wherever you want. I would personally agree kasi before I thought I'd just be into web dev, and right now I discovered my passion is somewhere else. I'm more into programming desktop apps, into the system programming side. So I would really agree. I really agree with Mom Claire. Tapos na we have to explore basically. See what asan tayo. Pero I also noted, Ma'am, when you said Singapore 150,000 pesos for a remote, tapos work from home base, no, na job. How is remote work impacting the local ecosystem from the developer side, as well as, I think this would apply to you, Delphin, as for business owners looking for developers. So how is remote work affecting the local ecosystem?
I'll just start muna, no?
Sige.
That was like, I think 2 years ago. Although I'm sure still the same. I had a friend, sabi niya, Claire, I'm looking for social media manager, dalawa. I'll pay them 15 and 20 on site somewhere in North. Sabi ko, wala ka makukuha ganyan. Ako, I'm a freelancer myself. We've got a little IT company, no, although I'm just there as a para consultant. But what I mean to say is that sabi ko hindi mo makukuha yan kasi 'di ba yung mga taong ganyan, if they have the skills, why should they ano yung mga offline, 'di ba? I mean yung on-site lang. They would prefer to, like ako, we present din yung anak ko dumarating. What I mean here, 'di ba? Like kahit ako, no, sad to say, no, baka sabi sarcastic ako, hindi ako kumukuha ng local clients. 'Di ba parang gano'n, no? Kasi 'di ba, like ako, $10, $25 per hour, 'yan ang offer, no? But just imagine dito sa atin magkano lang yung offer, like it's per day, like 405. Kahit IT ka pa, kahit magaling ka sabihin, ito lang yung basic and you're there, no? So yung ano doon, masasabi ko, no, yung ano mo, Sean, is that the local scene salary can never compete with the global market. So ang ano na lang ngayon, let's all go for the global skills para you will be able to cater the global market. Yan.
Thank you, Ma'am Claire. Ikaw, Ma'am Diane or Delphin,
Pero,
what do you think?
oo,
Sige, Ma'am Diane, go.
as a rejoinder to Ma'am Claire lang, I think pwede naman parang attractive naman sa sa local scene yung ano, yung I mean in terms of yung the handing of jobs. Oo. Kaya lang sabi nga mas enticing, 'di ba? Oo, yung yung sa global scene. Pero I think for the starters or those graduates who are still coping to learn, parang foundation nila, oo, so they still opted to go in the local scene, in the local industry, right? Oo, para matulungan din naman. Though they are not yet into the what we call this, the salary itself, but honing of skills, yun yung focus nila or yung objective nila, yung goal nila. Oo, parang ganun. So parang yun, parang okay lang, I just grab it, 'di ba? Oo, wala namang problema, I just want to learn, 'di ba? Tapos pag okay na siya, iiwan na niya yung ano, yung trabaho niya dito, 'di ba? And then pupunta na siya sa malaking scope niya. Okay, yun lang po.
Thank you, Ma'am Diane. Delphin, you want to say something? Kasi I have something to add from personal
Sige,
experience.
wait. Sige, wait. Nalito lang ako sa school. Yeah, so actually, I wholeheartedly agree sa sinabi ni Ma'am Claire. Local tech companies can't compete with international market. Ever since I started freelancing, doing remote work since 2016, ang mga sabi ko lang, di talaga kaya ng ano, hindi talaga kaya ng ano, like ako, like Ma'am Claire, hindi ako tumatanggap ng ano ng local clients. Kasi ano talaga eh, ang baba sobra. Like yung papagawa for the whole project, isang araw ko lang yun sa international client. Like international clients are paying me $50, $60 per hour. Tapos yung offer sa akin dito parang in terms of ano peso siguro $5 lang. Like bakit? Like why should I take that offer, 'di ba? Pero ang kainaman sa remote work is because it's remote. Yung brain drain natin sa Region 8 hindi na ganoon kalala compared before. Kasi hindi na sila pupunta ng Manila, hindi na sila pupunta ng Cebu. Nag-i-stay sila sa Region 8. And I think Sean, isa ka sa maganda example nito. Kasi remote work ka, pero you can still organize a community like this. So kung nasa Manila ka, Cebu ka, ano yung magagawa ng DevAid? So I think, yes, there's a disadvantage. Mahirap makakuha ng magandang worker sa local. Pero, ito mga ano to, may mga remote work, meron silang time to contribute to the local tech community. Now, the problem is parang sabi, paano yung ano, paano makakuha yung mga local companies? Well, if you either pay a good amount of money kasi developers still needs to pay their bills. But if di pwede naman project-based. Kasi sa US, people there are working 2 to 3 jobs. Kung 2 to 3 jobs ang trabaho nila. Dito sa Pilipinas, yung remote work, may mga ibang remote work na like for example, nag-try ako mag-remote work before na time-based. 6 hours per day lang ako. So I still have a lot of time for other stuff. Which means I have stuff to do sideline or project-based tasks. So kumbaga, for local tech companies like Trabajador, for example, mag-a-adapt ka na lang talaga sa ecosystem because if you can't pay them enough, just adapt na lang na project-based, ganun. But personally, I don't think remote work is bad for the brain drain. It's actually good kasi yung skills ng mga developers natin nag-i-improve because they're experiencing global level of challenges. Kasi dito sa pag sinabi sa local, paggawa ng POS, paggawa ng website. Pag doon, very niche. Like, kailangan ko ng ganitong specific na module. Hindi tayo parang IT department. Kasi ang nangyayari dito, pag local tech scene, IT department ka na. I-hire ka isang IT officer, you are the whole IT department and you will only get paid 15,000, 20,000 a month. So yun. So I think, actually, papromote ko, mag-remote work na lang kayo. Kumita kayo. Tapos, tanggap na lang kayo ng mga sidelines sa amin. Ganun.
Na-call out ako nun Pero, thank you, Delphine, Ma'am Claire, Ma'am Diane. Very interesting discussion. I love what the insights we got. No, pero unfortunately, we don't have time anymore. Pero if others have questions, we still have the open forum a bit later. So for now, thank you so much, Delphine, Ma'am Claire, Ma'am Diane. For now, we'll give the floor back to Patricia.